Hello everybody, welcome to the November 2018 new mech video. This week we have the Vapour Eagle, also known as the Goshawk within the Ionosphere. First up, we're in the mech lab, showing off the standard Vapour Eagle 1. That's just the default build. I made no changes there, though the weapon groups are the large pulse on 1, mediums on 2, streaks on 3, and machine guns on 4. And the colour scheme I tried to get was as close to the Steel Viper Alpha Galaxy as I possibly could. So we go over to the gameplay. This was a map of Canyon Network, and I'll show off the cockpit, which I think is quite nice actually. It's interesting, a little porthole kind of look. Evokes the look of the head quite well. You get a feel for it, the size of the mech. At first, it doesn't really seem like it's a 55-tonner, but the size comparisons, it's actually quite tall. It's much taller than I was expecting it to be. This is quite a manoeuvrable mech. It's got decent base speed, though this is an unskilled Vapour Eagle. It can go faster than the 97 it's already running. It comes with jump jets as well. However, this being a battle mech, you can modify it as you please. Base design is a single large pulse, triple medium pulse, quad machine guns, and 2 streak 2s, which is a hell of a lot of firepower for a 55-tonner. This is a mech that is built by Steel Viper, and it was in use before the invasion, or just before, I believe. It was seen as one of those mechs used by the Provisional Garrison Clusters, or PGCs, as well as being a rearguard mech, and it saw some, but not a lot, of frontline service at its time during the invasion. It was a conundrum for Ionosphere analysts for many years, because the weapons loadout doesn't really fit any prescribed style of clan combat, and it was only years later when analysts learnt more about clans that this mech was actually designed very similarly to the Incubus, in that it was a mech that was also sort of dual use as a mech used for combat and for dueling purposes between warriors who may have some kind of issue with each other, and that can only be settled through the good old clan way of just beating the crap out of each other, apparently. So yeah, the Goshawk and the Incubus are both very similar in that respect, although this one is obviously a lot better armed and equipped than the Incubus, though the two I feel play kind of similar. It's also interesting that they both have sort of similar-ish kind of weapons loadouts, of having a large pulse or a large laser and some mediums in there with machine guns. It's like the two mechs kind of have a kind of kindred nature. So yeah, it's interesting that was, I don't know if it was maybe created by the same guy, both of them, I don't know. That said, how is the Vapour Eagle? It's, right from the off, it feels quite good. It just feels like a good sort of frontline trooper mech, to be perfectly honest. Which is what it ended up becoming for Steel Viper after they were ejected from the Ionosphere by their long-term rivals, Jade Falcon. They needed more of these mechs to fill gaps in their front lines back in the clan homeworlds, and thus new variants were created, upping the firepower and giving it more of a frontline combat role rather than it being a dueling battle mech. Although we're talking about things like the Vapour Eagle 3 and 4 at this point, which is a decade or two later. So, the Vapour Eagle 1 though, the first thing I noticed is heat. Big problem with heat. Definitely skill up your heat sinks skills, and if you want to tweak the build, you could probably get rid of the streak 2s and throw in a bunch of extra heat sinks there, or some extra ammunition for the machine guns. Whereas obviously the ballistic slots are pretty good. You've got triple ballistics in the left arm and 1 in the torso, but they generally work quite well. Ammunition's a bit sparse for them from the off, but that's not terrible. The rest of your weaponry is located sort of your right arm and your right torso, so basically your ballistics are on your left and your energy are on your right. I've got a frog in my throat now, it's making my voice sound all weird. Sorry about that. Sorry for your ears. So yeah, the only thing that are symmetrical are the missile hardpoints, which are 1 in each side torso. Which, yeah, you probably aren't going to be putting particularly large launchers in there anyway. This is a mech that's clearly got a strong emphasis on its energy and ballistics setup. Now, Dr. Bike has told me that he's got a build that's going to be using multiple AC2s, so that's certainly an option out there. I'm not sure how effective that build will be. I guess we'll have to wait and see what Doc says in the comments below on his findings there. But I'm sure you can come up with some pretty good combinations. This is a mech that doesn't suffer too badly from the long-held clan issue of LSAS, Low Slung Arm Syndrome. It has numerous high-mounted locations for both its engine and ballistics, and the missiles are high-mounted as well. So you don't have to worry too much about smacking weapons fire into the ground when you're trying to peek and shoot. As I said, it's quite manoeuvrable, and as the base loadout goes, it's pretty decent for damage. I think this match I did high-end 300s or 400 damage, which for me is pretty good. I know for a lot of people that's ho-hum and, you know, God help you if I'm on your team kind of territory apparently, but yeah, the rest of it is pretty decent damage-wise. So I think with a good custom build, you could probably knock out easy 500-600 damage on a very focused build with this thing. So yeah, visually I think it's quite good. The redesign of the head is a nice melding of the original Goshawk from TRO 3055 when the artwork from Victor Musical Industries was excised, and the redesign from, I think it's technically readout 3060, which gave it this more kind of still a kind of mobile suit look, but it had a more interesting head, very similar to the one it's got now with the 3 eyepieces. From the front though, the mech does have a kind of a bird-like look to it, which is quite cool. I like that. It's good field of vision, as you can see. You don't really have any sort of blocked viewpoints there. The circle does actually help you keep focused on what's going on ahead of you, which is strangely mesmerising. So it's hypnotic. No, anyway, so yeah, overall, I'd actually recommend this. It's fun. It's always, battle mechs are always more fun than omni mechs anyway, because somehow PGI gimped omni mechs. Don't know how they did that. It's a unique skill of theirs. But battle mechs in the clan side of things, you can't really go wrong with these. They've got loads of hardpoints, lots of options for builds. You know, mess around with the engine, you know, slapping a whole bunch of juicy clan weapons in there, and you should be fine. It's not a bad one. If you haven't picked it up, the base pack is probably worth a look at. You know, my experience with other free-to-play games, $20 isn't a big ask when you're looking at things like World of Tanks and World of Warships and War Thunder and stuff, which ask you umpteen amounts. Yeah, this isn't too terrible. It's rare that I recommend a pack, but this one just felt quite good. It's not doing anything special, but it's in the 55-ton category, which the clans do lack a bunch of those. I mean, they're lacking mechs in a lot of categories, multiple mechs options there, but yeah, this one's good. Feels a bit tanky. Plenty of armour to mess around with, plenty of weight to mess around with, good engine size to start with, and even unskilled, you can do pretty good damage. Skill that thing up, and you're pretty alright, I think. So yeah, that was the Vapour Eagle or Goshawk. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye!